Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Remko Rinkema, and you are once again tuned in to Run It Back, the show in which we watch old school poker action, sometimes from a very long time ago. We went back to the 70s, not too long ago. Sometimes from not so long ago, we watched some Poker After Dark action with the lovely Marley Cordero. But today, we are diving back into the archives to watch arguably the most iconic WSOP main event final table of all time. Kevin Martin, do you feel honored?
I'm excited, man. I mean, the amount of Jamie Gold references I've made in my life have been many and plentiful. This is going to be a good one. This is peak poker boom era. I was 13 years old when this final table went down. And yeah, I mean, let's go. I'm excited. This isn't as far back as the 70s, but I'm sure we're going to see some archaic poker strategies that don't exist anymore. And it should be a great show. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. For the people unaware, Big Brother champ, self-proclaimed punter, member of the GG Poker Squad, and of course, Twitch streamer, Kevin Martin. It's good to have you on the show. We'll dive into lots of your life, and we'll find some funny stories to uncover from this final table. One thing I'll say, though, the strategies you'll see today on this 06 final table, they were very profitable back in the 70s. Right now,
back in 2006, if you could count to 10, I think you could be a winning poker player. Wasn't that the qualifications? My friend Jason Somerville says if you could tie your shoe, you could win at poker. Back in that day, you know. I'm excited. I've been diving deep into the lab this summer, studying modern poker strategies, trying to level up my abilities. So I'm excited to see what 2006 has in store. I assume lots of big pre-flop raises, 4xing, 5xing, and Jamie Gold, the king of the table talk. So we're gonna have a great show here today.
Exactly, lots of blueberries. I thought you had top. A lot of that stuff today on the show. For the people who are just tuning in, by the way, we are live on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Facebook. Get your questions in now for Kevin Martin. Or if you're just generally confused about what's happening, then join us, because that's sort of the vibe that we're having tonight. I'm just going to play this intro. I want to get us all hyped up for the action, because as we all know, ESPN and WSOP and the production team did such an amazing job at getting us set for these final tables. So let's dive in.
I had no idea that I'd be the guy who would change poker forever.
It's amazing how much a
there we go.
$5 million can change your life.
Sometimes I still can't believe it. Yes! I'm the reigning world champion of poker.
My name's Chris Moneymaker.
Greg Raymer.
Joe Hashem. Who's next?
Man, if you won the main back in those days, you were just an instant superstar. It's just a different thing.
I got chills.
Yeah.
And tonight, someone's life will change forever. The World Series of Poker main event. Almost 9,000 players came in search of a single dream. The largest prize pool in sports history, with $12 million to the winner. Now all eyes are on the final table. Only 9 men still have a chance at the one bracelet every poker player desires. There's Eric Freiberg and Doug Kim, each looking to become the youngest champ ever. Yes! Richard Lee, who had a premonition he'd walk away the winner. Yeah! There's Michael Binger, the physicist, and Paul Wasika, the aspiring poker star. But the focus is on 2 men, each who carry great expectations. Alan Cunningham is one of the best players in the world, and chip leader Jamie Gold has controlled the table for days.
I have a hand.
10, baby, 10! Tonight, one man will join a pantheon of poker legends. The only question left is... Yeah, baby! Yes! Who is next?
I mean, if that doesn't get you hyped up, I don't know what will.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This was peak. This was peak. I played some small little home games when I was in that 13-year-old range, and this is really when poker was at the most viral, was this time period, just a couple years after, Chris Moneymaker won the World Series in 2003. And I believe, the fields nowadays in the main are quite large, but this was the biggest tournament ever at the time, right?
Absolutely.
This one specifically.
Yeah, just shy of 9,000 players. I believe 8,672 or 8,872 off the top of my head. I think that we'll get back there to that level, at least, once the pandemic is dealt with and we get all the international players back in. Poker is as hot as it's ever been as far as the live realm, even though we are still in the middle of a giant pandemic. But yeah, this was the peak. This was the ultimate peak. UIGEA happened only 4 months after this final table, which collapsed a lot of the online poker economy in the US. Of course, party poker leaving the scene. And then, of course, it was the PokerStars and Full Tilt era that really was already sort of bubbling up, but really hit it hard in that 07 to until Black Friday era. So yeah, what you're looking at right now is the middle of, is amidst of all the madness, which is a really cool thing to see.
Okay, Alan Cunningham, very familiar name. I remember he was kind of, I think he was young at this time, but he was really, I remember my brief memory of this final table is that he was one of the sharpest players for sure. And then Jamie Gold had he wire to wire almost. He had a chip lead, I believe, on day 3, and he never let it eat. He literally went wire to wire in this tournament, which is just unbelievable. And I believe at this time, what else do we know about Jamie Gold at this time? Wasn't he a filmmaker?
I believe he was a Hollywood agent, and his coach was Johnny Chan, who was on the rail. And then afterwards, there was this huge legal dispute between him and Johnny Chan about some sort of backing deal or
really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. There was a little bit of controversy.
There was definitely some controversy, but there was a few names here that I did not remember. That's why it's good to sort of see what is going on. We didn't even get a chance to look at some a chip count leaderboard or anything. We go straight into the deuces. By the way, deuces back in the day, huge hand. You got to see the flop. You got to make sure you can hit a set or something.
This is the first hand. I'm very curious. What's the open size here? Because I think it was a bit different back in the day.
Let's see.
Even man, the way poker's broadcast now, this is very, very different.
Let's see if we can figure it out.
Our chip leader Jamie Gold has pocket deuces.
Richard Lee says Jamie is having the run of a lifetime.
Call.
He limps.
Call the big
Okay.
blind. You will see a lot of him tonight. He loves to see the flop. Richard Lee folds.
And look how big
Eric
the stacks
Freiberg
are.
Gets out of the way.
So
There
many
are
chips.
5 players at this final table in their 20s. It's a microcosm of what the poker world has become.
Dan Nassif with ace king offsuit
No raise.
says raise it up.
We don't-
Nassif,
we don't know
an
the
account
blinds.
executive for a St. Louis newspaper.
I think the blind's
Gonna
30,000.
raise it
The
up to
green chip is
700,000.
25.
It says he
No,
thinks
it
he has
can't
a
be.
tell
We're
because
deep
his
into the
bluffs
main.
never
That can't
work.
be right.
Has to be very big.
Well, all roads lead to Jamie Gold of late, and Jamie will call here.
Now, no matter
Jamie
what-
Gold. I mean, you gotta poke fun at him, but he's just. To me, whenever I watch Jamie Gold in poker content, he makes me smile. To be honest, I enjoyed him on High Stakes Poker. This. Oh wow, set.
Gold hits a set. Talk about running
Oh my God! Yeah, but it's true. If you watch the 06 main event, and by the way, for people who are new to this this content, I mean, there's a lot of young people, by the way.
And Gold, of course, will make the call. Nassif only with ace king and a straight draw.
Wow, Ace King just missed the post. I wonder what the stack to pot size ratio was there. Honestly, not that I don't know if this individual is. It's probably honestly not the worst play with 2 overs and a gut shot, and then Jamie Gold's limp call range is probably going to whiff a bunch, but obviously he has the set here, which is mighty bad news for the Ace King.
Yeah, exactly. And still a little unsure on the blinds and the stack sizes here. But the one thing I'll say about Jamie Gold, if you want to watch a tournament rampage, then just watch the whole 06 main event. At first, we have Dimitri Nobles, who has 100 starting stacks on day 2. He just burns out really hard, and then Jamie Gold basically day 3 chip leader and just takes it home all the way, which is pretty insane.
Very impressive how I think he just bagged the chip lead every single day in the main event, day after day after day, which is pretty absurd. 4 for chop. GG. The chip leader grows in his power.
Yeah. Casual 1.5 milli for his 9th.
I mean, that's another thing about Jamie's run here. I think by 2006 standards, he actually probably played pretty decently well against the field. But he also just smash the deck, of course, as you need to win the main. But I remember him just being very, very fortunate in the card distribution. Here we go.
There it is.
Chip count.
Chip
Jamie
counts.
Gold, 28 million. Alan Cunningham in second. and then Richard at 11, and everyone else is below 10. So
let's see if we can figure out what the blinds are, because that would give us a good indication of what the play was like.
You might notice there are more than 2 million extra chips in play. That may be due to a miscount during the color-up of chips, so now a little over 90 million chips at the final table.
Well, my
What?
math's not too good.
Like, what was that? What, can we hear that line again? Did he just admit to
To a miscount during the color-up of chips, so now a little over
A miscount during the color-up. I mean, that sounds like Man the Master just came in with a little briefcase.
90
That's
million chips at
amazing.
the final table.
Well,
I love
my
how
math's
that made
not too
air. He's
good,
just
but
like,
you
yeah,
can see
the
that
tournament
Jamie has
directors
more chips
messed
than
up. They
anybody
lost
else.
some chips somewhere. Oh.
Let's bring another player in. Seat open.
We started with almost 9,000, but we're out of players. Only 8 left, and waiting for the big confrontation now between chip leader Jamie Gold and 4-time bracelet winner Alan Cunningham. It's got to happen sooner or later.
Richard Lee bluffed all in the other day, and when he lost, he thought he was gone, but he had chips left.
By the way, for people who have played at the Rio, these are the same chips they now use for the daily deep stacks.
And that calls to mind.
That's correct. Yep.
Strauss went all in, lost the hand, but as
They
he
have
got
new
to
main
Lee,
event
he
chips.
noticed he had
Yep.
one chip left under a cocktail napkin. With that single chip, Strauss rallied to win the main event.
Well, I'm getting some Kevin Martin vibes here from Paul
That
Wasika.
is where the legend of a chip in a chair was born.
Put on the sunglasses and a little
I mean,
baseball cap.
I wish one day I want a final table domain. Interesting. Open limp from Queen Jack off from early position. Probably not recommended, especially with ICM.
Oh, did you say 80,000? Are they playing 8160K? Let's see.
4-5.
Call.
Offsuit will make the call from the small blind. It's 80,000 more.
Ooh,
Yeah, so we're playing 80K, 160K. We figured it out, finally. So
80K 160.
So let's
That's
go,
perfect.
Let's go back to those chip counts real quick. I just want to see. Okay.
Yeah. So 80K 160. So Alan has over 100. Jamie has 150 or something, 160.
Yep.
And then the short stack's 20. All right.
A lot of play.
Pretty deep.
Yeah,
I mean, the main event. The main event remains pretty deep.
All right, so now that we've got caught up, 80K, 160K in play. By the way, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, we are live. Get your questions in. I see you guys on Facebook. I see Will, Alex, and Hashi watching. Wheezy, Noise Sauce, Augustin, Daniel on YouTube, Nicola, and Left Leg tuning in. I appreciate you guys all watching. Who we got on Twitch here? Poker619. We got Dirty Dan in the house. This is awesome. We got C Vacts in the house. Lots of people tuning in. I appreciate it. Keep your questions coming. If you have any things of note about the 06 main event, in case you played or if you were a big fan back in the day, do let us know. Meanwhile, Leah's flop trips.
Reaching for chips, and he throws in 200,000.
That's a
That's here, and I mean, how out of line is Jamie Gold here?
Jamie could sneeze, and that many chips will go in the pot. He's
He
gonna
raised.
raise it, though, to 5.
Wow, check raise.
And Rhett Butler will fold.
So 480 in the pot. He bets 200. Check raise to 500.
Raises, you do pause.
And looks of concern from Richard's wife and daughters. Team Lee up against the chip leader. Richard will
Okay,
make the
very
call.
interesting turn card here. Hey,
Richard Lee
not
in
the
good
worst hand to
position
choose to
going
raise here,
turn,
actually.
and
4-5
ace
with the
keeps
spade,
Richard in the
and
lead, but gives Gold a flush draw.
very
And
interesting turn card.
Straight draw, and he'll
And
check.
now he slows down, which is funny.
Now he slows down.
Richard Lee pauses and he checks.
Why would you want to give your opponent
Wow,
a free
deuce
draw?
for a spade?
Another
No.
ace, and that gives Richard Lee the check mark.
Yeah, Lee with the jacks full house. Jamie with nothing.
It's a fun card, huh?
Jamie first to act. We've seen him be very aggressive throughout the main event. Comes out with 600,000.
Gold's representing an ace, but unless he has one up his sleeve, he's going to lose
Call.
his hand.
Richard is not going to shy away. He'll make the call.
Jamie Gold steps in
Hey,
it a
God,
little
Jamie
bit.
with one called.
Oh, you got it. Nice hand.
Indeed, Richard Lee is not
Wow,
gonna be pushed
he
down
finally
by the chip
loses
leader. He'll
one.
Take that pot.
If I ask one out, do I have to ask all out?
Nice hand, Richard.
So Richard
Whatever,
Lee.
whatever happened to Jamie Gold? Do we have Jamie Gold sightings? He's actually made a couple appearances on like Live at the Bike and cash games recently and stuff, but I didn't. I mean, I don't want maybe this. Didn't he actually get in some financial trouble like years after winning the main event, or there was?
I don't know exactly what happened. By the way, shout out to Paradise Poker here as one of the sponsors. from back in the-
ParadisePoker.net. I have never heard of that one before.
That's one of the
There's
OGs.
sometimes people talk about some of these old sites from back in the day, and I'm like, that is, I haven't heard of Paradise Poker before.
That's so funny. But yeah, I don't know what Jamie's been up to. I know he was on Poker After Dark, I believe last year for 1 week. He had some of his friends in the studio, and he played on one of the shows. But yeah, have not heard much from him. He was supposed to be on Run It Back, but we never figured out a time and a date, so I figured I'll do the next best thing. I'll get Kevin Martin on the show and break this all down. By the way, pay attention to Michael Binger, the short stack at this final table. He'll be in for quite a while, so he's doing some good maneuvering here at this final table. Meanwhile, there's the coach.
His opponents still don't seem that intimidated by his
Johnny
play.
Chan, one of the best to ever do it.
Believe me, you don't want me to call, because if I call, I got you.
Oh, by the way, if I talk over the audio, can people hear it individually, or?
They can hear both.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so I just basically turn it up and down as needed.
Gotcha.
A lot of cards. You look like a genius.
Try to outplay me, baby.
But he's not the best player.
People are blowing up left and right, giving him gifts.
Thank you.
If he hits a cold deck, he could lose a lot of chips.
Ah, nice hand. Yes!
I don't think he has the experience it takes to win a thing like this.
May talk a little bit too much and sort of let his emotions out.
Ace, queen, any diamond.
This is a segment of everyone just shit-talking Jamie Gold's poker
I
ability.
think he's gonna make some kind of
Amazing.
mistake and he'll go out in like 4th or 5th place.
If I'm playing, I'm winning.
If it could go final 3, Cunningham, Jamie Gold, and myself, I guarantee you we will tear him up.
I don't expect him to be a huge threat.
Damn. So much shit talking. I love it. Wow. Amazing. Alexis on YouTube chimes in with a question. Says, Kevin, which do you find harder to play, Big Brother or poker, and which is more fun?
Oh, damn. I'll tell you what, right out of the way, like, I've had some intense situations in poker that I would put them at about a 7 out of 10 on the stress scale. Big Brother was a flat out 10 out of 10. Almost the entire time. I've never experienced an intense mental game like that. I would say both have moments of fun for sure. Overall, I think poker's a little more chill and a little more enjoyable. Yeah, Big Brother was an intense one for sure.
I cannot imagine being stuck like that under the cameras all day long. Big hand here.
Kicker.
Wow, look at this.
Big hand here. Wow, straight flush draw for Freeberg. Missed the pre-flop action. Cunningham with the trips and Jamie Gold with the better trips. So in little multi-way pots kind of operate a little bit differently in No Limit Hold'em. And I think a lot of weaker players mess them up. A lot of weaker players are too tied to their relative hand strength. But the thing is, when you're in a multi-way pot, basically you just get to bluff less. And you kind of have to have it a little bit more to put money in. You just can't get as creative. Obviously, that's like a little bit of common knowledge potentially, but maybe a good little refresher for you guys out there. Wow, everyone's kind of nutted here in their own way.
Check also.
I don't know why Allen played the 9-7 to begin with, but there's no reason for him not to believe he has the best hand now.
And a lot of those new green chips go into the pot. They're worth $100,000 each. That's $2 million total.
Call.
Jamie Gold is going to stay right with him. Now Freiberg gets out of the way.
Man, he got cold feet. Give me his cards.
So Gold and Cunningham
lays down the straight flush draw. I guess it's a paired board,
Jamie
but
Gold gets the check mark. He's got the better.
And Alan and Jamie are so deep.
Yeah.
This is the first confrontation between the two, and Jamie Gold has the better.
I mean,
of it.
Allen's
Check.
definitely going to value bet here. You just have to.
Nines, but the smaller kicker, and he's going to come out with $2 million more.
I got a 9. I got to call you.
Indeed, Jamie's got to make the call and shows his.
This destroys him.
Cunningham mucks his cards.
Jamie's so animated, man. Oh, who's that guy with the big biceps? That guy was looking huge. The amount he goes to the water bottle and the amount, like, you watch modern poker now, and the game has become like, especially a lot of the crushers. Some people do incorporate the table talk, but a lot of people just lock down. When I play poker and I get in some bigger spots, especially live, I will not talk to you during a hand. I will not. There's just no way. But I mean, it's just a different thing back then. They're just, it's like they're out at a dinner date or something. He's so animated.
Oh, what do we got here?
Welcome back to the Rio Poker Room as we move closer to crowning a new world champion. A large crowd.
Of course, Phil Hellmuth has to make an appearance, otherwise it doesn't count.
Out here is saluting 10 past champions, including defending champion Joe Hashem, but everybody here knows one man is missing, and they anticipate his arrival any moment.
And finally,
Chris Ferguson.
Doyle, Texas Dolly Brunson.
The godfather of poker.
There he is.
76 and 77 main event champion.
It's looking good back in 2006.
Oh, yeah, still walking. That's awesome.
That's not such a tough group. Bring them on.
There's a couple. If you had to create the Mount Rushmore of poker, there's a couple present for sure.
Exactly. It's 100%. Doyle Brunson,
Wow.
number one, unanimous. You got some moving around in the chip counts. Gold up to 35. Cunningham and Lee tied at 12. And then the short stacks haven't done much at all.
Yeah, Jamie Gold has opened it up here up to 35 million. I guess that trips over trips in the set really really helps.
Yeah, definitely. Gengar on YouTube says, you can talk all you want as long as you don't give away any info. That's the trick. But, Gengar, anything you say could be interpreted as information. So it's a tricky one. Very tricky.
Yeah, some people are talented at it, but not me.
No, same. I do talk a lot in between hands.
Between hands, I'm a chatty Cathy, but when I'm in a hand, it's business. For sure.
And Jamie Gold also in the pot. Rhett Butler has been very quiet, continues to be quiet and folds. Richard Lee now 10-8 offsuit from the big blind.
Lee says he's hoping to promote his longtime home of San Antonio here at the World Series.
4 players to the flop, and it comes out ace, queen,
Damn.
jack. Freiberg gets a pair of queens. Gold and Lee both pick up straight draws.
If you don't have an ace, I don't think you much like it. Freiberg might want
What
to.
what were you doing in your life in 2006?
In 2006, I turned 21 and I discovered poker. So
Hey, this is right when you got into it.
Or sorry, I didn't turn 21. What am I saying? I turned 18, and that's the legal age for casinos in the Netherlands. So that's when I went to the casino for the very first time. October 6th, on my birthday, went to the casino with my dad. I played. They had at Holland Casino, Leeuwarden, which is close to where I grew up. They had 20 euros sit and goes.
Oh, wow.
And the blinds doubled every orbit, and it was like super fast. And the big game was a 10-20 euro limit hold'em game, was right next to it. And I stood there.
That is a big game.
I stood there for most of the night in awe of the money and the stakes.
Yeah.
And I was basically hooked for life after that experience.
That's awesome.
And
wow, what a card for Gold here. Just turns the nuts plus the redraw.
No
he
big
has
deal.
Queen 9 just stone dead to a chop.
Freiberg first to act.
Such a good spot when you make like the 4 to the straight plus you have the nut redraw. You often want to put a lot of money in because you can just push your equity against King X that are you're free rolling. Wow, Freiberg, this is the guy that was talking smack to Gold before the game started, right?
He was.
Does he make the hero here with Queen 9?
I could easily have a king.
His talking
I'll show
is
you.
so good.
This is Jamie's MO. He'll tell you what's in his hand. Sometimes he's truthful, sometimes he's not.
The Swedish contingent is anxious.
Remember, Freiberg told us he doesn't much respect Jamie's game.
I love my hand.
He
You
doesn't
got a
pay him
king.
off here too, with the diamonds
Go
as
on,
well.
I call, don't worry. Let's just get it over with. If you don't have a king, just go away.
Freiberg trying to figure out whether it's a bluff.
I call him.
Freiberg's going to pay for the information. Jamie shows him the winning straight.
I told you exactly what I had.
Wow, that was crazy.
king
That was a
and the diamond.
multi-way pot too, and Freiberg had 2 diamonds, which is like, I mean, if you're talking smack in the pregame interviews and then you pay a man off like that, that's a little bit of egg on your face.
I mean, I think no one wanted to lose to Jamie Gold, and that's why they lost to him, because they just didn't think that he would have it every time.
Yeah. And he largely did for sure.
ASAP on Twitch says Jamie earned that. Let's be real. I mean, it's kind of true. Through the because of the talking, that's how he got it done.
Blinds 100K, 200K. Blinds will go up. Look at that stack of chips.
So he keeps playing small cards.
I'm sure he's thinking, why not? The way he's been running.
Yeah, the open limp of the 5-4 is pretty out there. Maybe you could raise, but don't recommend that either.
So these two will go heads up to the flop.
So funny. Brian on Facebook says, this is the first year I tried to get live updates during the event rather than waiting for the TV coverage. I remember there not being much content out there, but I spent hours searching for anything I could find. Yeah, Brian, this is the early days. Poker News started covering WSOP back in 2007, so that was the following year, the Jerry Yang year, with the famous Scotty Wynn blow-up just before the final table. And then this year, definitely, I think Poker Pages did some coverage. PokerStars blog had some people out there, but it wasn't much. If you were watching it back in the day, let us know how you remember this final table, because it's been so long that I don't remember any of this.
The river card is a meaningless 3 of hearts.
I remember the themes, and I remember where people finished, but none of these hands have I ever seen, essentially.
Right.
Does Jamie bluff here? I mean, feels like if we end up in the spot, the 5-4 is a must bluff.
1.5 million.
And this will be
maybe I'll give Jamie Gold some credit in that the little bit I've seen so far, he kind of does pull the trigger in some of the correct post flop spots. Like, obviously, if you're playing correct poker, you should never have the 5-4.
Yeah.
Oh wow, Lee snipes him off here.
Yeah, Lee, the second time Lee snipes him off. Nikola Kristevsky on YouTube asks, Remko, bro, is there a place where you can find all WSOP episodes or anything to rewatch them all? Yes, there is. PokerGo.com has every single WSOP main event that ever aired. It is all available on PokerGo. If you use the promo code HSP, you get $20 off the annual sub. That comes down to about $7 a month. So PokerGo, not very expensive, but we have it all. It's at the highest quality that you can find anywhere, so you no longer have to deal with any illegal streams or any bullshit quality. So it's all available on PokerGo. Anything, for that matter, that we watch on Run It Back is all available on PokerGo. So you can even watch Stu Unger win the 1981 WSOP main event, or the 1997 main event, or see Johnny Chan win his main events for Phil Hellmuth. It's all available on PokerGo. So go check it out.
PokerGo.
It's really cool.
I currently have it. I flip back and forth between activating and deactivating my PokerGo subscription. I would say, I always get it for the main, and then the poker. Oh wow, Aces here for Mr. Gold.
Just
been playing it. He's been playing an open limp strategy. Does he continue with the aces?
With his pocket aces.
Next in line.
He did. I think he did.
Yeah, he did open limp.
Eights.
Raise it.
And that's probably exactly.
Oh wow, limp from aces, isolate from eights. I mean, if you know how wide Gold's range is to open limping, you should definitely play your eights with a little bit of pep in your step for sure.
And Jamie has been showing down a lot of these crap hands, so that makes it even more interesting. And we got Cunningham in the mix at sevens.
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see what Jamie does here. He definitely limp raises, right?
5 million.
And a re-raise. Jamie Gold like.
Lee has that. Did he say 5 million? Look on his face. Alan has that. Did he say 5
By the way,
million?
if you guys are ever playing at a home game or a small tournament, a local casino, and somebody limp raises, I promise you can fold almost everything except the nuts. When I played live poker, live cash games, it's never a bluff, the limp raise. Never.
It's true.
And here we see Mr. Gold with the aces as well.
Let me take it down.
Tony on YouTube says, please, Remko, put me in a time machine. I'll make us all rich. Tony, you and me both, buddy. You and me both.
Lee will fold.
I was thinking about raising you.
Now to Cunningham.
5 million.
Gold made the good raise.
Wow, there we go. I mean, do you like the fact that he continued his limping strategy, or would you say you might as well raise at this point with the aces?
I mean, as the chip leader, you definitely don't want to. You definitely want to develop an opening strategy. You don't want to be open limping just because obviously, like, no one wants to go bust, right? You're the guy applying the pressure, so it's definitely not optimal, but he's making it work. This guy won the biggest prize in poker history, or no, didn't. Wasn't Antonio's one drop worth more, I think?
Correct. When Antonio won one drop, I believe it was 18 million, and then Dan Coleman won one drop, I believe, for 15 million. So since then, and of course, Bryn Kenny then won or chopped and lost the Triton Million event for like 23 million or whatever that was.
Yeah.
So
that's right. Yeah, I remember that because that was a 1.4. I think that was a 1 million euro buy-in.
No, 1 million British pounds.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you remember when Dan Coleman won the one drop and they're like, "How good is this for poker?" And he's like, "To be honest, he's like, most people shouldn't play poker. I'm gonna." Everyone in poker wanted to cran, Dan Coleman, because he was winning everything. If you remember that, everyone wanted to play like, this is our next guy, and then he kept winning everything. And then he's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "To be honest, like most people should stay away from cards."
Dan Coleman is, especially in hindsight, iconic figure in the game. I had a chance to talk to him on podcast well after his big win. I totally understand his perspective, but at the time, I was one of the reporters reporting on that final table, and I was so excited for the idea of Negreanu winning the one drop, and then he loses heads up to Coleman, and of course Coleman wanted nothing to do with promoting the game, which is understandable, given the perspective that ideas that he had about the game. But back then, that was pretty deflating. I must admit.
I call.
Jamie
Wow.
Queens
versus Jacks.
This is the degree all-in moment. Jamie Gold with a chance to knock off the dangerous Eric Freiberg.
And this is how good Jamie is running, Lon. I mean, let's say Jamie had pocket 9s or 10s there. He probably would have called the all-in and been in big trouble. Instead, he picks up one of the 3
Queens versus Jacks. One of the best spots you can get in No Limit Hold'em.
Wow.
81% to 19%. It's about as dominated as you can get.
Yeah, got to feel bad for Freiberg. Probably, looking at, the way he looks, probably at the time, online crusher, playing high stakes, looks like one of those killer Swedes of whom we've seen many over the years. No one was up against Jamie Gold, up to the task of beating Jamie Gold.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for him, man. He was talking trash, and then he paid Gold off in a spot that was a bit of, quizzical. So he gets toasted. He won a chunk though. Even 8th place was what, $2 million or something?
Probably something in that range. It was very flat though at the beginning of the final table, I think.
That's right. Wow, Jamie Gold is just crushing everybody.
Freiberg's got to be very disappointed. He was not going to be satisfied with anything less than a victory here, but he will go home with almost $2 million.
Yeah,
and he doesn't want to go. Just another player who thought he could get a piece of Jamie, but it's Jamie who gets him.
And the hits just keep on coming for Jamie Gold.
Wow, 90 million in play. 90 million in play. There's 7 left right now, and Jamie has almost 40 million chips. First prize in this event was $12 million. I believe second was $6 million. So casual heads up play for $6 million, which is really, really insane.
Wow, look at these guys walking different. Oh, I know exactly where I've walked.
Yeah.
Oh, this hallway I have walked. So if you've never been to the WSOP, there's there's these back way hallways where all the I think they're employee only, but I mean a lot of the
employee and self-proclaimed VIPs.
Yes, self-proclaimed. It's a wide margin for interpretation there.
It's the confidence game. You walk into that hallway with confidence, and no one's going to stop you. Oh, here's Alan Cunningham segment.
Awesome player, and I really respect his game a lot.
He's incredible. He's definitely one of the toughest players at the table.
Alan is the best player.
I'll raise it $2 million. I have enough less.
Yeah, he's the one.
I raise all in.
He absolutely is the favorite. There's no question.
He's got 4 or 5 World Series poker bracelets, and he's only 29, so I imagine he's doing something right.
Slow me down.
He's a good player, You're like, he probably knows what I have.
Alan's game is extremely solid. His chips do not go in there unless he either knows that you're going to lay down or that he has the best of it.
75,000. I like the pressure. It really gets me in the zone, and I'm just totally focused the whole way. I probably play better than most of the people left in the tournament, so I like my chances.
Alan says if he wins.
Yeah, back in that day, if you were a good player, I mean, your big blinds per 100 win rate must just be absolutely absurd. Like you could just consistently crush.
But at the same time, getting to the knowledge level where you have a large edge was much harder, because you have to figure it all out by yourself. This is before card runners, before all the solvers and everything. So a lot more of this was just general smarts, and most people here started with books as their basis, and then a lot of talking to smart people. So right now the game is harder than ever before. Back then it was harder to get better, which is it's a very different situation.
Yeah, significant lack of information. I guess you had some books, like you had Super System, which laid down some really good, like tight aggressive strategies. Oh wow, Ace 10.
And you know I hate
Binger
that
was a short
play
stack of
by
the whole
Binger,
final
Ron.
table at this
All
point.
in on a draw. Why?
Well, typical of what we've seen throughout this main event, and the big Binger fan club.
Ace 10's going to get toasted
needs to
here.
send good vibes to their man. Cunningham in good shape to pick up some chips. His parents, Dean and Joanne, look on.
Binger just on a draw. Probably figured if he paired either one of his whole cards, that might be good enough.
Now the turn card. A king.
Oh!
That's Broadway for Binger. Michael's brother Nick is thrilled as Cunningham is now in a deep hole.
I gotta feel good for the part-time theoretical physicist. Binger survives his all-in. Cunningham can still split the pot. With a 10 on the river, they'd have identical straights.
Wow, what a
River
get
card
there.
is an ace, and Binger wins.
So Binger doubles up here through Cunningham. He was the short stack. I think he was somewhere in the 10 to 15 big blind range. I'm not sure how many hands we've missed up until this point. Keep in mind, by the way, this is an edited cut down of this final table. We don't really know how long the final table really was. All right, here's some more chip counts. Richard Lee, by the way, look at this guy. Just like bossing around up to 21 million. And then we have basically 4 short stacks right now. Wasika, Binger, Butler, and Duck Kim.
Distance of our chip leader, Jamie Gold, who's
And Allen in third. That was a pretty savage bad beat there with the ace queen.
Yeah. Allen probably one of the few players that actually knows what ICM meant back in those days. Michael is asking on YouTube, is Mike Matisow in this? No, he is not. Mike Matisow made the final table of the 05 main event. Famous hand against Scott Lazar. Aces versus Kings. King on the flop.
Wait, that was
hearts.
the main? I remember that hand. I didn't realize that was the main.
Main event final table, 9 left. Matisow gets it in with Kings versus Aces. King on the flop. He loses his mind. It comes running hearts, and Scott Lazar makes a flush. One of the most iconic hands of all time, in my opinion.
I remember that hand. I did not realize that that was actually the main event. Because Mike made a really deep run one year, and then he had that battle with Sean Chacon and
Same year.
Greg Raymer.
Yeah, same year. All in 05.
Wait, Mike did not make the final table that year, did he?
05,
I gotta look this up.
He finished 9th in 05.
I believe you. You got more knowledge than me. Wow, Queens versus Nines here.
Wow, who's this? Look at Dr. Disrespect is here on the rail.
Yeah, that's a mustache on the left.
That's hilarious.
Doug Kim looking to the stands.
Yeah, just a bad spot for Doug Kim.
Yeah, and he was very short.
On these small paired boards, it's just like, I mean, Nines is beyond nutted. It's kind of unfortunate. 2 outs. The bad feeling in poker when you have the 2 outer.
Yep. Especially with 7 left in the main.
And now there are 6 left in the main.
Exactly. Dr. Disrespect is very happy.
Yeah, he's pumped. He does kind of look like Dr. Disrespect. Maybe Dr. Disrespect's uncle or a close relative. Why am I blanking on his name? Who's the tournament director? I can't believe I'm blanking on his name.
2 million plus just doesn't soothe the pain.
And for Paul Wasika, who's been flying under the radar, he could be a major player at this championship table.
Help me out, Jack. That's it, Jack.
Wait, which Jack? Jack Effel?
Jack Effel.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Jack Effel. He's the guy. He's the main director. If there's any controversy in the main,
exactly. Kareem says that's when Mike cried for hours. Exactly. That was indeed when Mike Matisow started crying. Especially because he got mad at his friend for calling out the river card. He's like, I thought you said I had it. I thought you said I had it, even though it was a heart on the river giving the guy a flush, which is really funny. And Mike's clash with Raymer in 04, but they clashed again in 05 because Raymer went deep in 05, finished 25th in the main event again the year after he won. They actually had a few more back and forths. Pretty funny. While we were watching, by the way, this Seidel.
This is the Rounders hand. This is the hand on Rounders.
And this final table is on PokerGO. Like the whole thing. It's pretty epic. The moment between Seidel and Chan.
The acting, it was just, you know, we're commentating on legendary moments in poker history, but if you watch this hand, you know, like, okay, Johnny Chan has the nuts, like how he was like rolling his head and stuff. That's of that hand. I mean, I remember watching Rounders and seeing that hand. And you got Eric Seidel. Eric Seidel still competes at the highest level in the toughest fields nowadays.
Really, really. Oh, blinds, 100, 200.
By Milwaukee's best light. 6 players
This is too
remain
much
at this
fun.
championship table. Paul Wasika is the youngest now at 25 years.
By the way, if you guys are enjoying the content, please like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Twitch, Facebook, all that good stuff. I do the show once a week, every Thursday. We have different guests on the show. We watch different types of broadcasts. If you want to go back, one of the things that you guys will like that I know for sure, I had Lex Veldhuis on the show last year during the pandemic. We did a 3-hour show. We watched every single episode that he was on High Stakes Poker. So if you guys want to watch some epic footage of Lex, then that's the way to do it, because he broke down all the hands he played versus Ivy, versus Doyle. Really cool stuff in there as well.
That's awesome.
Gold in there again with the
4-3 burger.
Yep.
No improvement for Jamie Gold, who's way behind.
2 pair now for Alan Cunningham.
Check.
I mean, oh wow, check twice. That's interesting. I guess he thought Jamie was just going to fire the turn, of course, but Jamie doesn't seem like super aggressive post flop. Actually, obviously in some spots, but like in general.
Tables are turned. Cunningham putting the pressure on the chip leader.
I call.
Yeah,
He'll make the call.
Wow.
And he will lose and show his cards. Is Gold willing to pay that much just for some information?
And all the sharks at the table are like, okay, this guy just flatted the 4-3 off burger on the button.
Amazing.
They're like, how does this guy have all the chips, man?
All right, Binger.
Well, how did I mean? I'm really excited to see how Jamie Gold withstained the level of crushing here, because I mean his pre-flop play is beyond horrendous. There's no other word to describe it. Post flop, hey, he's been decent in some situations, but his pre-flop hand selection is from a different world.
Definitely.
We've been crawling since we were 32.
Right. On the Milwaukee's best light pocket cam, Gold with King 8 of spades.
8.
He raises it up to 800,000. The blinds have been raised also to 120,000 and 240,000.
It's been a
120, 240.
final table for
Price of poker's going up.
He's playing okay, but he just can't get his big paws on Jamie Gold.
With the ace-jack, he makes the call. These two will clash heads up.
I can only imagine, by the way, for the people who are curious, this final table must have lasted at least over 15 hours, because
sure.
I know from stories that Alan Cunningham basically played extremely tight, kept all the pots really small in hopes of chipping away at Jamie Gold. But somehow Jamie Gold remained his focus and his run good to ultimately close it out. And right now we're in the middle of reliving it, and he makes trips again.
I mean, yeah, what a turn card here.
And a great spot for Jamie Gold. Does he want a smooth call or does he want a pounce?
Kind of feels like the King 8 wants to raise. Just after Cunningham checks flop, he's not going to check too many straights, and then this is a hand that you want to get money in, but is very vulnerable.
Or if you're Jamie Gold, you're like, I have trips, I'm raising.
Yeah. Let's see. Does he pull the raise here?
It was just a semi-bluff at best. He can't be happy to see that raise from Jamie.
Yeah, he did.
Told Gold to stay away from Cunningham, but Gold in good shape right now.
I'm out.
And Cunningham will fold.
Good bet by Jamie. Good read from Alan.
Nice
The
fold.
river card would have given.
Oh, rabbit hunt.
Oh, what is that? You got that's awesome. You got the rabbit hunt from the dealer.
Oh,
At
wow.
the main event. I've never seen that before. How he moved that over the glass.
Okay, I'm going to say this right now. We need to bring back the rabbit hunt. That's fantastic.
That was amazing. I have never seen that before, ever, in any poker content. The dealer secret rabbit hunt. That's another level
Boom.
there.
That's amazing.
I think you're dealing with some pretty big security issues if you don't execute that correctly. But
Wow.
that was awesome, man.
That was
sweet.
fantastic. The rabbit hunt. I did not even remember that. We should bring that back. That's fantastic.
To stumble, but so far he has not.
I wish they had all the uncut footage of this final table so we could see every hand and break it down that way, but I'm afraid I've tried to obtain that and it no longer exists.
Jamie Gold up to 41 million.
Wow.
Jamie says he's going to use his prize winnings to help in the care
of his father, who has Lou Gehrig's disease.
10-7 of diamonds. Jamie's going to raise it up to 800,000. Rhett Butler folds, as does Richard Lee and Wasika. And they leave it all up to
Jamie
Alan
opens.
Cunningham once
Cunningham
again
in
with
the big
ace
blind.
9 offsuit.
In the big blind.
Yeah, he's just been taking everything post flop, which is probably really good.
Yeah.
These two will go heads up again. Gold has more than held his own against the multiple bracelet winner. The flop, 8-3-8. Neither pairs their whole cards, but Gold picks up a flush draw.
Allen's ace high right now is good. Gold has the better drawing hand.
Cunningham checks.
I don't like my hand very much, so I'll put in these.
Oh, he doesn't like his hand, so he'll use the red chips. 2 stacks worth $1 million.
Well, it's a good semi-bluff. Allen doesn't have much, just the ace high, so Jamie might be able to take it down right here.
And Alan Cunningham will make the call.
He's high in the
Gold
diamond.
would have preferred if that bet had ended the hand. We'll move forward.
Pot gets bigger to the turn card now. It's a deuce, no help to Gold, who trails Alan Cunningham. Allen checks. Gold checks behind him, so we'll go to the river card. It's a queen, and that earns Cunningham the check mark with the 8s on board and the ace kicker. Allen checks again.
2.
And $2 million bet from Jamie
I
Gold.
hope Allen calls
Jamie
here.
with a little stutter step on this one. He semi-bluffed after the flop, checked the turn, now bluffs the river. Allen only has ace high. I think Jamie made the right move at the right time.
Jamie making Allen sweat it out.
He's actually this is the one of the only hands I actually remember.
I don't think you should be able to talk about your hand, but the turn.
Look at that winner's smile from Alan Cunningham.
I'll show you. I've been showing a lot of bluffs. I don't mind showing.
Jamie is bluffing.
Allen says that Jamie often betrays his hand when he talks. This is a tough call, though.
I was thinking of calling it anyway. All right. Oh, wait, I didn't call it yet. Hold on. But I will call it. You're good.
And Cunningham with a great call.
Nice call.
Wow, what a call.
And he fires back at Jamie Gold and takes the pot.
That's probably where you think Alan Cunningham's going to take this thing over.
Yeah,
is
this feels like that turning point.
Yeah.
Poker pro Melissa Hayden loving what she sees.
Andy Russell on YouTube says, I'm sure ESPN has the footage. Well, Andy, let me tell you, ESPN was involved in the production of this, but it was actually a company called 404 Productions that made this. Spoke to them. Matt Morantz was involved with that, and they no longer have all the raw footage of this. So I'm sorry, but that's lost in the void. Like a lot of stuff.
If there's like a main event trivia night, I want you on my team. You might be the most knowledgeable about main events out of anybody I've ever talked to.
I've probably also spent the most time of my life watching these broadcasts and rewatching them time and time again. It does help to work in the industry when you're constantly 441 Productions. That was the name. Shump Cooley on Twitch. Thanks for correcting me on that. It's fun doing a live show. You have hundreds of people correcting you on the spot when you're giving information, which is perfect.
Queens versus Jacks again.
Here we go.
This is dangerous waters for Richard Lee.
Wow, and by the way, Richard Lee was second in chips with the
For Richard, his family sensing danger with Jamie Gold in the picture.
Was that raised 3-bet, 4-bet?
Stack.
I think so.
He's got 11.5 million chips left.
11.5 million left. Wow.
You just can't stack off here.
We've
You
seen
just can't.
a top pro like Phil Hellmuth get away from a hand like this, but this could be tough for Richard Lee to lay down.
All in.
All
Oh.
in. I call.
And all in and a call on Richard Lee. And
That's a big punch.
Baby! Yes! Yes! I trapped him.
Yeah.
And this is the main event in a nutshell.
I trapped him. He had jacks, mind you.
That's a huge money disaster to there's like I think he was second or third in chips and he just got it in with jacks.
Yeah, definitely. He was. I believe he was second in chips, or at least third behind Cunningham, perhaps after the last hand we just saw.
Good news for all the shorties, though.
Exactly. Binger is going to be really happy with this one.
If these hands were reversed, Lon, Richard Lee would be in position to double up for the chip lead right here.
But as it stands, Richard Lee is facing elimination from the chip leader.
And the only way to avoid elimination at this point for Lee is a jack on the turn
He's
or
the J
river.
ball.
Turn card is a 6. Now Lee with one last hope.
No paint.
Gold smells yet another knockout.
Jack of diamonds. Come on, baby.
Lee literally dreamt of winning this thing. Now he's just dreaming of a jack.
River card is a 10. Jamie Gold wins it.
Huge pot.
How many
Wow.
chips does he have there?
It looks like he gets it in there for about 50 big blinds. That's what it looks like, roughly. And now he gets 6th for 2.8 million. Wow. By the way, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, also, this main event was extremely long. They played for 10 days straight, roughly, if you include the starting days. The days were super long. There was no breaks like we've seen in the last couple of years. So end of day 8 or day 7 when they made the final table, the next day at noon, boom, played the final table straight through in one go, no breaks, no pauses. And a lot of these
That's insane.
A lot of these guys are also like, the guy who just busted, were definitely not in their 20s. So fatigue plays a huge factor, and playing under the bright lights and playing, for all these long hours. So whenever we on the sidelines criticize like, oh my God, he stacks off with jacks there, keep in mind, these guys are absolutely exhausted. They're on the brink of literally just passing out. And then, sometimes you just get it in like that and hope for the best.
For sure, yeah. A 10-day tournament, that is intense. Fatigue is a massive real thing, especially in live poker. Even in 2-day events here, like we have 2-day events in Calgary, or sometimes 3-day events, and at the end of a 14-hour day, you can just see it. You can just see it. People they just mentally clock out. They just can't focus for after, which is crazy. I often say, you see it all the time, especially it does happen with, if you're a little bit older sometimes specifically as well, the hours are so long. I mean, they've done studies on like chess players, highly engaged chess players that are playing chess, and they actually end up, these chess masters that they've studied, they end up burning thousands of calories in like a 3-hour match just because they're operating at such an intense focus level, and I imagine poker, you're burning a lot of calories. It's a very intense sport. People are like, you're playing cards, you're just sitting there. No, you're completely mentally clocked in the entire time. And fatigue is a massive issue.
Yeah, it's definitely easy to underestimate what it takes to go deep in the main event. That is not an easy tournament to win. Even when you're running good, you still make so many mistakes.
That being said, we are going to criticize the man for the ICM punt, back in 2006.
That's true.
It doesn't matter if he's fatigued or not. That was a bit of a disaster, I think. Interesting card here. Straight for Cunningham.
I got you.
And Allen does have him, and
wow, Jamie checks back.
Down onto the felt and wins the pot with a queen high straight.
Well, for the moment, world order is restored. Cunningham getting the better part of gold, and Jamie taking a little stumble there.
So
he's upset though. He didn't get very much value.
Yeah.
He's like, what happened? Yeah,
that's true.
I'm actually a couple of these lines that Cunningham has taken. I mean, Jamie has this image about being like a crazy punter, but post flop, I actually don't see it as much. Pre-flop, I mean, he kind of just plays a high VPIP, and then he's a little more passive post flop. So I'm surprised that Cunningham's checked some of these value hands. Like he checked that one, and then earlier he had top 2 where he checked a couple of straights.
Just saw a message on Twitch, I believe, from someone who said he played the main event. Yes, J139404 says, love the 06 main event. First and only main event I've played. Paul Waska came to my table late on day 1 with a ton of chips. Had no clue who he was until I was watching the ESPN coverage, which is pretty cool. He says, starting table had Scott Clements and Dewey Tomko. Todd Brunson's wife came to the table later that day. Amazing experience and memories. Well, Jay, thanks for tuning in. That's awesome. It's great to hear that story. I wish I was around back in those days. Would have been incredible to see that.
That's super cool.
1.1 million chips.
I raise.
Jamie said he was going to try to trap his opponents, and that is exactly what he's trying to do right here.
Another 4 million additional.
Gold raises it up 4 million more.
And that means Waska now probably deciding whether he wants to commit the rest of his chips to this hand or get out of the way.
Come on.
It's all.
Wow.
I got to call you.
Wow.
And he gets a call.
I got you.
Yes! Paul Wasika all in, and Jamie Gold.
Jamie
with a
Gold's
big lead.
celebrations are
I
so
just
pure.
trapped him too. I'm playing well.
Trapped
right?
him.
You're playing fantastic.
It's the same story again and again, Lon. They try to outplay Jamie. They have hands, but Jamie's got a better hand, and frankly, he's outplaying them.
The Paul Wasika, Colorado cheering section family and friends holding their collective breath. Wasika needs help or he's gone.
A queen is all over. A queen, the best card you can hope for is a queen's all over.
I'm saying sooner or later I'm going to trap all of them.
Jamie says he's going to trap all of them, and they keep coming at him. It's like the carnival concession where you try to dunk the guy into the water, but right now Waska's going to get all wet if he doesn't get running
10
cards or
spades,
queen.
jack.
Turn card now. Oh, it's a 10. Wasika takes the lead with kings up.
A Dr. Disrespect like that card.
How about that, Jamie Gold?
Yeah, he shakes his head at one of the few really bad breaks he's gotten.
Well, Jamie says his mentor Johnny Chan plays perfect poker. Now Jamie knows sometimes that's not enough.
He's distraught as if he's just lost every hand ever in the main event, even though this is the first all-in he's lost probably in like days.
Still got 23% as well.
River card is an 8. Paul Wasika doubles up for the chip leader. Team Wasika's not going anywhere just yet.
It feels like VJ.
I cannot unsee this now that it's Dr. Disrespect.
Well, I think he's less upset than he is incredulous.
Wow, Jamie. I mean, that was actually a huge hand. That was a lot of. That was 25 million chips or something out of large percentage of the chips in play.
Huge.
I can't play any better than that.
It's so crazy how upset he is, even though he's been doing this to people for days on end.
Yeah,
which is just so funny.
Who's your favorite main event winner of all time? Your favorite main event champ?
Oh man, favorite champ. That's a hard question. There's a lot of different ways to look at this question. First name that comes to mind is Greg Merson, just because his 2012 win, there was so much emotion there. I got choked up when I saw that. Him overcoming his demons and battling through addiction and coming out on top that way. Just a fantastic story. But if I talk about what got me into poker and got me excited about poker, the first year that I watched. It's kind of a funny story, but basically I was playing a home game, and if you didn't cash but you made the final table, like there were not enough places paid, you would get a DVD set of the WSOP. So I won a DVD set of the 04 main event. So that was the first main event I ever watched. So the Greg Raymer year was my first ever main event that I watched, and I must have watched that at least a dozen times. So, Greg Raymer to me was like the coolest guy with this Fossilman sunglasses.
With the fossil, yeah.
So
you
dope.
still see him. I've seen him the couple times I've been to the WSOP. He's still out there firing.
Yeah. So
Fossil Man.
What about you? What's your favorite?
I'm a huge Phil Hellmuth fanboy. 1989 main event champion, the young cocky kid with the Walkman. You gotta love that.
That's such a good look.
Martin Jacobson comes to mind as like an all-time stud. Joe McKeon. Nobody's really crushed live MTTs more than Joe McKeon as well. You could make that argument that he's one of the best MTT players of all time.
For sure.
His ROI is beyond absurd. There's a lot that come to mind.
Yeah, no, you're right. People in the chat, let us know. Who's your favorite main event winner ever? I'd love to hear some suggestions.
Wow, middle set for gold here. Cunningham. Top pair backdoor flush draw.
Meanwhile, Red Butler in the 9 seat hasn't played a single hand at this final
He's laddered.
table.
Yeah, you're right.
Against Alan Cunningham.
Jane Gold on the arm of Jamie's best friend, Eric Strozer. And the trap is set. Jamie just calls.
Yeah, middle set on ace,
Wasika.
8, deuce.
Too much work
It's
to be
as
done to
locked
make a hand,
as you
so
can
he'll
get
fold.
in poker.
So Gold
Amazing.
and Cunningham to the turn. Jamie Gold with a huge advantage. Now we go to the turn. It's a 6, and that secures the hand. Gold with a check mark. Cunningham drawing dead. They both check.
Ooh.
Give Jamie credit. With his betting patterns, it's tough to read him.
A meaningless deuce on the river.
Cunningham's
going to
go for value here, I think.
Remember, he's got aces up.
Probably smaller sizing,
And he
smaller
does
sizing.
bet out 2 million chips.
And Gold has trapped the great Alan Cunningham.
I raise.
So quick.
The trap is starting to close. Gold announces raise.
I'm all in.
All in.
Wow. Going for it all. This is the degree all-in moment. If Alan calls, he will be eliminated.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess you do. I know you didn't have it.
Nice hand.
And Cunningham will shrink away after committing almost 3 million chips.
Gold again getting the better of Cunningham. We've seen Allen miss.
If Cunningham or if Gold just min raises, you know, Cunningham almost has to call in that spot, but because he shoves, it gives him a way out.
Jamie Gold is back on track.
He's cooking right now. He's cooking.
Definitely. There's no stopping him at this point.
I would make an argument that the most successful marketing campaign ever is Degree. The deodorant, the Degree all in a moment. That's imprinted in my brain. I don't know another sponsored advertisement that I can remember more than the Degree all in moment.
Same for the Jack Link's beef jerky wildcard
ham. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good ones over the years. Red Butler finally in action.
Shoved the short stack with the 4s.
It's the ultimate poker trivia question. Who finished 5th in the 06 main event?
One suck out for the kid. Come on, baby.
He needs a 3 or a 4.
It's a 10. Not going to happen for Red Butler this time. And he is gone in 5th place.
Hey, he laddered. He laddered like a boss. We didn't see much of his action, but
just 5th place. And now the final 4 is basically 3 against 1. 3 guys against Jamie Gold. That's basically what's left now for this 4-handed play. Meanwhile, we're getting some good answers in the chat. We get Stu Unger, Johnny Chan, Hashem, Jerry Yang. Of course, Jerry Yang, iconic. I got to have him on the show. That was an amazing final table. Jack Strauss in 82. He says that's where we got the term chip in a chair. He was down to 1 chip and then ended up winning the main event. That's fantastic. It's a great story. Not My Year on Twitch says it was Joe Cata. I completely changed my style, or completely changed his style for the final table and smashed everyone. Well, you got to watch the Joe Cata final table. Joe Cata, he'll be the first to admit, he got so lucky at that final table, he just could not lose a single hand.
Yeah,
which
he got it. He got it in a couple of small pairs versus bigger pairs and just flopped the set, right?
Yep.
But Joe Cata is another. What did he get in the? He got. He won the main, and he was almost the first person to win 2.
Yeah,
because I believe he got 4th in a recent one.
Yeah, he did. I believe that was the Hossein Ensan year, where Joe Cata made the main event final table again, and then he went on to win.
Yeah, that was the last live main event.
And then
because we did,
he went on to win the closer like 3 days after that, like the same WSP. He finished 5th. It was 2018, so he finished 5th in 2018, and a few days later. He won the closer for another bracelet. So
yeah,
Joe Cata definitely crushed.
He ran such a good river bluff in 2018 too. Like a check call, and then the river came in. It was a really good card for the big blind range, and he actually just like led shove. It was one of the best hands I've ever seen at the main event. He's a savage. Just an under the radar guy. Doesn't say much, but an all-time crusher.
7SOX on YouTube says 2010 was the first WSP I watched. Duhamel versus Affleck is still the worst bad beat of all time. It is. It is definitely the worst bad beat of all time. The tears of Matt Affleck are still painted on the walls inside the Rio somewhere.
Yeah, didn't he spike a water bottle into the carpet of the Rio?
He did.
That I actually tweeted about that recently as well. I think that's the #1 worst beat in poker history for sure.
It's definitely way up there. Definitely.
Allen's turn to act.
So Allen opened the button here with
Double-fisted,
A6. Jamie defended.
1.1 million chips.
Wow, does Jamie get it a line here?
Jamie taking a long time to get rid of his rags.
He is the 7-4. Oh, he does fold.
7-4
Wait.
of diamonds.
Jamie's shown us he's willing to gamble previously, but here against Alan Cunningham, I don't think so.
I raise.
See, this is where poker has changed. So back in the day, it's like, oh, if you have a bad hand, sometimes you can make a move. That's not how people really think about. I mean, that's not how like poker theory really works anymore. So the way that people think about this spot now is you take all the hands you can have, and the 7-4 of diamonds, the 2 unders to the jack, the no backdoor flush draw. It's impossible for him to have a worse hand. Which means you absolutely fold to the c-bet, right? But now, back in that day, it wasn't necessarily the case. So you had kind of you could make some moves with random stuff more than people do now.
Jamie's just completely posturing here. There's no way he calls.
And Gold gives it up. Cunningham
At this point in the tournament, everyone was still thinking, oh, Alan Cunningham is going to take him apart slowly but surely.
Alan Cunningham picks up 4 million chips from Jamie Gold. With his experience, will that be enough for Alan to make his move?
Alan Cunningham.
Wow, he must have been so famous back in those days, like walking around the Rio or just going anywhere basically. He I mean, also this is 15 years ago, by the way, which is kind of insane when you think about it. 15 years is a very long time.
I'm checking out Alan Cunningham's Hendon Mob here. Is he active recently? What's he up to?
I believe he plays like small stakes live, but someone Andrew Euros tweeted that we found Dr. Disrespect on the WSOP stream.
Alan Cunningham's last recorded cash was July 2019.
Oh, wow. Jim on Facebook makes a good comment. Jim says, I don't like this. I want to watch the poker game. I don't want to listen to these idiots in the side talk about what they think so much. Favor. I don't like this. They just lost me. Sorry we lost you, Jim. PokerGO.com. That's where all this stuff is available. The idiots are talking today.
Bye, Jim.
Let the idiots speak, Jim. Let the idiots speak. Sorry, Jim.
Miss you, Jim.
Retract your like if you have to. But thanks for passing by. I appreciate it. Tens for Cunningham here. Gold with the King 7.
Has in his stack, but Wasika will just make the call. So Cunningham with his
something is brewing.
Leads, 3 to the flop. Gold and Wasika each with a king. Now the flop. Jack, ace 9, all hearts. Cunningham still leads, and he's got
interesting board.
Heart. Jamie Gold checks. Wasika checks his straight draw over to Alan Cunningham, and he checks his pocket tens.
I'm surprised Alan did not seize control right there.
On a more serious note, this is all available on PokerGo. If you use the promo code HSP, you take $20 off the annual sub. That means it comes down to $7 a month. It is worth it to subscribe to PokerGo. We have a new season of High Stakes Poker. That is out now. We have 2 new seasons of Poker After Dark, along with all the other seasons, 7 seasons of both Poker After Dark and High Stakes Poker. We just did the PokerGo Cup. We did a few free streams on YouTube that were very successful. We just had US Poker Open wrap-up. We have High Stakes Duel coming up. Nick Wright from FS1 versus Phil Hellmuth. Can Phil Hellmuth go 7-0 in the High Stakes Duel format? We'll have to wait and see. That's going to be July 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then we're taping a new season of High Stakes Poker. That's going to be epic. And then we have Poker Masters, Super High Roller Bowl, and then basically the entire fall during football season, we have the World Series of Poker starting at the end of September, running all the way until I believe mid-November. So it's going to be an epic year. And if $7 a month is not worth it for you, then I don't know what to say. There's a lot of poker action happening, and it's all going to be on PokerGo.
Coming at Alan from all sides. And he gives up the best hand.
He gives it up. Oh, and Wasika shows the bluff. I need oxygen.
Wasika wins the hand, and his ample cheering section.
The recent return to High Stakes Poker was really good. I watched the entire season. I really enjoyed it. And some of the best, my personal favorite content is those small fields. The Sicko Fest, the Poker Cup, the 50K Poker Cup, the 100K Poker Cup. Those are, I really enjoy watching those, and they're very well produced. Yeah, it's very well done.
And those are streams we all can learn a lot from, because those guys are insane.
World class.
Yeah, world class
players. Those are the toughest fields in the world, I imagine. That little small Vegas group.
Yeah. Definitely. And when people say like, oh, these fields are so small, why do you guys care so much? Well, they are small because they're so tough. And these guys are willing to pony up the money to play against each other, which, makes me give them even more respect. So in that sense, it's even more impressive that they're continuously battling each other for such big money. So it's pretty insane. By the way, I appreciate all the love. Jim, we were just poking fun. I love having you here, and thank you guys all so much for tuning in. It's a blast to do this show once a week. Have a little fun, maybe have a drink or two, just sit back, relax, and in this case, watch the 06 main event, which I can do this every week. This is a fantastic final table. By the way,
this is a good one. I've quite enjoyed it as well.
Also, the action leading up to this final table is fantastic. It's Anti-Gate, Jeff Losandro versus Prahlad Friedman. It's Eric Molina, the kid going nuts, getting in fights with everyone. A lot of.
Oh yeah, him and Jamie Gold were fighting. Didn't he get like an orbit penalty? I think
he did. Yes, he did. Yeah, some epic stuff from the 06 main event.
I always think it's tough to recover from a bluff like the one we saw Waska execute on him, but Allen's pretty even-keeled.
Allen will make the call. 150,000 more with Jack 8 to Michael Binger. He swims laps every morning in the hotel pool, says it relaxes him and clears his head, and he'll play as well. 3 to the flop. Cunningham paired his jack. Gold now with a straight draw. Cunningham first to act, and he will check.
Allen soft playing top pair again. I hate to question him again, but I don't know.
All players check to the turn, and the 3 gives Jamie Gold his straight.
Now, once in a blue moon, I'm right. That check might have cost Allen a lot.
It's interesting.
Norman's
actually been critical of Allen in a couple hands, but I disagree with Norman, and I agree with Allen's line. Like, I don't think we lead small blind very often with Jack 8.
Allen's thinking, what's going on here?
Joel Gold just with the Nutter Butters once again.
And he pushes out 2.5 million chips. Applying pressure again.
I got a good hand. Really good? It's good. It's good. I like it.
You can probably have a 5 deuce. You can probably have a 5 deuce. That's good.
Yep. Yeah.
5 deuce?
Wow.
Yep.
He thinks Jamie might have a 5 deuce. Now he's got to figure out if he actually does have it.
Good call.
Huh?
Good call.
You mean if I make it?
No, I'm saying
Oh,
5
that's
deuce. That's probably what I got.
Oh, I see.
Earlier, Allen said Jamie sometimes betrays his hand when he talks. Let's see if Allen's radar detects if Gold is telling the truth here.
He's trapping.
Just call. Either go all in or,
That's what I was thinking of doing.
What do you think? I'm going to fold?
Probably not now that I hesitated so much.
Yeah, no way.
Well, Allen contemplating pushing all in or getting out of the hand. And how many times have we seen Jamie tell somebody precisely what he has and then they call him?
Jamie has been confounding all of his opponents during this main event. It's critical Allen make the correct decision here.
You know what? This time I might have you, but I'm going to fold it.
Cool.
Oh, great laydown.
Gets out of the way, and Gold gets 1 million chips back.
Wow.
That's a great fold, man. That was really, especially because he just check folded. He didn't lead. He just check folded, which is pretty strong.
And just also imagining once again, they've been playing for probably at this point 10 plus hours, and he's just waiting for a moment to take Jamie's chips, and he just has to be even more patient, which makes this so extremely tough.
To one-hit wonders, to the biggest money makers in poker history. But before them all was the first man to be called the champ, Mr. Johnny Moss.
He was the greatest poker player of his time, and I don't think there's anyone who would deny that.
In 1970, there was no main event, and Johnny Moss was voted by his peers as the best player in the game.
That's right. They used to just vote.
Yeah.
He was the Michael Jordan of poker.
Johnny Moss won the very first main event in 1971, and then did it again 3 years later at the age of 67.
He was the best no-limit player, and I think the records show that. He was the guy standing on top of everyone else.
Probably the best poker player to ever live.
And he was born before 1910, just to keep in mind, the era and what his life must have been like. It's pretty insane.
I like those throwbacks and like the dedication to the old champions in the poker history. I'm a big poker history fanboy. I quite enjoy those segments.
Johnny Chan, the two-time world champion, knows exactly what Jamie is going through right now.
I'm sticking with Cunningham through hell or high water.
First to act, though, in this hand is Michael Binger.
This guy's still here?
He is indeed.
That's impressive.
Binger with King 8 of clubs. He has been quiet as of late, but he comes in with 1.1 million.
I do theoretical physics sometimes when I'm playing miniature golf.
Do you correct for the Earth's rotation? Gold with King Jack of diamonds will make the call to Allen Cunningham. Couple of tens. Wasika bluffed Cunningham off pocket tens a short time ago.
Four-handed.
But he won't be bluffed off them this time. Cunningham moves all in. That's got to be nerve-wracking for his parents.
Well, Cunningham, with about 6 million plus left, decided this was the time.
Does Jamie look him up here?
It's up to Jamie Gold.
I believe he does.
How much?
6.4, 6.5.
Well, this is a call Jamie will
Wait, it's not even that much. They're playing 200K, 400K.
seriously consider. First of all, he
6.5
can
million.
afford it. Second of all, he's
17
seen Allen
big blinds
swarm
or
out of
something?
traps here earlier. And if he thinks he's in maybe a coin flip situation with Cunningham, he knows he can't outplay him in the long run. Why not try to knock him out here?
I call.
And
Gamble.
Gold is gonna make
Let's
the
go.
call. And here is the ultimate confrontation everyone has been waiting to happen.
Mike Binger.
Huge flip.
Mike Binger still just sitting back, relaxing.
With his pocket tens,
One king is
but
dead.
Jamie Gold with 2 overcards.
And Cunningham looks quite uncomfortable. But if he can double up here, he'll be right
That
back
was the
in
thing
business.
back in the days. The good pros never wanted to flip ever. That was a common thing. Of like, never flip for your tournament life.
Jamie Gold on a remarkable
Exactly.
run.
It's a good call. I'm getting the right price. I'm 50-50.
Well, Jamie's a little less than 50-50. He's behind in the hand. But with all those chips, Jamie's the one sitting pretty, and Allen's the one on the hook.
So here we go.
Get it ready.
It's the tens versus the king jack of Jamie Gold. Oh, and there's a king!
Same script, different victim, and Jamie about to conquer the biggest threat to him.
Alan Cunningham now in a deep hole with all his chips at risk. The turn
10
card
bird.
is no help to Alan. He's down to his last chance.
Alan Cunningham down to 2 outs. The final table favorite.
Jamie Gold has deflected every major challenge to come at him so far. And right now he's doing it against Alan Cunningham.
What a knockout this would be for Jamie Gold. A 10 and only a 10 will save Cunningham.
And now the river card. It's a 3!
Jamie Gold. Too good, Remko.
Does it again. Does it again. Down to 3.
Bam. Alan got 4th.
4th place.
Salute to 4th place finisher.
Dejected.
Yeah.
Look at his chips.
He knew it too. If he could get, it was just weird. He just couldn't get the momentum at any point. But he knew it too. He knew he was the best player.
We also didn't see Alan Cunningham pick up any hand better than 10s at this entire final table. So I think Alan came into this final table thinking, I'm going to get heads up with this guy and see what we can do. And then the cards didn't go his way. But I think that in a lot of scenarios, Cunningham does get heads up with Cunningham here. Or we start with Gold here. And now we have 62 million, 15 million, and 12 million.
Binger. We haven't even seen any hands from him. He ladders to 3rd.
Yeah, the one lucky double up with the ace 10, and then nothing basically.
Pocket cam, 10-5 offsuit. He'll fold it. Next in line, Michael Binger. Binger with a 10.
Free-handed playing is a beautiful form of poker. You gotta play a lot of hands. You gotta get in there. You gotta fight a little more.
I think 3-handed is probably the most fun because you're always in a position where something has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Gold will make the call. He'll go heads up with Binger.
Wow, look at that. They didn't color up back then either, eh? I mean, maybe that was the biggest chip denomination they had.
Yeah, could be.
Now they have that big 500,000 chip, that big extra size one.
I hate those. They don't look right to me.
I like them. I like them because that's the stage of like, oh, the main's getting very serious when those are in play nowadays.
They should just have plaques.
Some of the European tours do the plaques, which were kind of cool.
Gold checks behind him. River card is an 8. Binger's pair of 9s is best. He gets the check mark.
Jamie bluff here with the jack 3.
And we've seen this before. Jamie will bluff on the flop, check the turn, and then bluff again on the river.
Here comes the bet, 1.2 million.
10 jack.
That would give Jamie a straight.
I'll show you.
Oh!
10 jack. I'll show you.
This is a very famous hand.
Show me before I make my decision.
Gold double checking his cards.
Oh.
Hey!
What was that?
Did Jamie just show him his card?
He flashed his jack. That's not allowed. Binger, the dealer, could have a tournament official come over, and Jamie would get a penalty.
He flashed the card.
He flashed the jack.
Jamie pushed the limits of tournament rules right there. He crossed the line.
Call and get it over with. You'll see my hand and rock and roll. I'll show you either way. There you go. You got me. Come on.
Gold's got Binger's head spinning.
It's 1.2 to what you got. You got plenty of money there.
Binger folds it. Yeah, he hates to see that.
Another bluff in Jamie's cap.
Nice hand.
If he called him, is his hand supposed to be dead? You can't expose a card.
Yeah,
right?
he's. I mean, I'm not sure about hand dead, but I'm pretty sure he's going to get a 1-round penalty.
But he never got called on it.
No, it was Jamie Gold's life, world, where I was living in it.
There was before the final table. There was even a more controversial hand where Jamie just told him that he had top. Remember that? And definitely pushing the limits of some collusion in some of these spots for sure.
I thought you said chop. This is an amazing hand. I love this hand.
And Binger's going to raise it up to $1.5 million.
This hand is fantastic.
Jamie Gold.
No hesitation with the 4-3 offsuit.
Jamie loves the 4-3 off burger. He V-pips it every time.
Can't have a hand every single time Jamie limps in. Jeez.
Wasika expressing some frustration. And these players at the same table for such a long time sometimes get a little testy with each other.
Wasika, though, will join the party, so all three players will see the flop. Binger in command right now. The flop is 6-10-5, something for everybody. Binger paired his 10.
Wow.
Gold got
What
a
a
straight
flop.
draw, and Paul Wasika picked up a straight flush draw.
Top, straight flush draw. Jamie's
Wasika
open ender.
First act, he checks. And now Binger, two-fisted, $3.5 million.
I'm all in.
And there goes Jamie Gold right with him.
Wow.
Paul Wasika doesn't know what to make
The
of
7-8 of spades, actually.
Keep in mind also, Wasika's talking, saying how sick it is, while there's still the decision to be made by Binger, who is in the middle of all this. So it makes it extra spicy.
We all got a hand. Let's do it. Let's go all three. Let's get it over with right now.
This is sick.
If they both do call this thing and Jamie gets really lucky, it could be over right now. And what a decision for Wasika.
This is disgusting.
On a straight flush draw, there's a player behind him. It's for all his chips. If he misses the draw, he's got nothing.
Wasika kicks it in. Binger's gonna play. Jamie Gold with a chance to knock off another player.
Good spot
but
for the
he's gonna have
ace-10.
to come from behind to do it.
And Jamie Gold is acting as if he's miles ahead.
He's like, I got it in
Got
with
him.
the draw.
I trapped him.
He knows. It's just his time. He knows the 7 or the 2 is on the way.
Yep.
So there's 1-7 gone. We need a deuce.
7 or a deuce gives Jamie the straight.
Jamie playing the big stack. He drove out the better draw. Now he's heads up to knock out another player.
Turn card. Oh,
Bam. That's it.
Jamie Gold eliminates Michael Binger on the turn with the straight. Binger is dazed. And the meaningless river card comes out. Another spade. Wasika actually would have won the hand with a flush.
Set up. Jamie has the 3-4.
And Wasika is just happy to be going heads up against Jamie Gold. But what a main
Binger
event
laddered
it
to
was
third.
for Michael
Did you
Binger.
ever watch Molly's game?
I did, yes.
Didn't they reference Jamie Gold in Molly's game?
Oh, I have only watched it once. I have to rewatch it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
I believe in the movie they reference a World Series champion who just won the biggest prize ever and who came to this game and donated a lot of money. And to me, I always assumed it was Jamie Gold because I think that Molly's game ran from the 2004 to 2008 time period.
Yeah, definitely.
This is crazy. This photo is pretty iconic because you have Jamie's stacks and then this pile of cash is beyond large.
Amazing.
Look at that thing.
Looks so cool. I mean, here we go. Heads up for $6 million. $12 million for first, $6 million for second. It's just insane. The 7-8 of spades fold is really, really easy, right? Given ICM and how Binger is going to be on the line there.
Yeah, and lots of times your opponent will have the nut flush draw, which is really bad. Against those two specific hands, the 7-8 suited had really good equity, but I don't know. I would assume it's a close fold.
I mean, in general, though, if you think about ICM, there's no real value in doubling up versus the chance of getting knocked out in that position.
Well, there is value in doubling up. It's just significantly less valuable than getting knocked out as painful.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Yeah, not my year on Twitch. I think they did show the river. It was a spade, and Waska would have basically
shipped it.
tripled up in a way, which is just insane.
Nobody knows who I am. But hopefully this will change it. I mean, I really do feel like I'm one of the best.
On the other side, our chip leader, Jamie Gold, the former movie agent looking for a Hollywood ending.
Deuce. Yes! As long as I'm the chip leader, I'm in control. We're going to war, and when I have the ammunition that I have and he's carrying a handgun, it's really, really tough for him to beat me.
I truly do believe that if I were to go heads up with him with 10% of the chips to his 90%, I would still win.
2 players, $12 million, and the World Championship on the line. Who is next?
It's so crazy that it was so much a confidence game. Like right now, if you would interview players, they would be so, you know, they would be so even keel. And here it's like they're both saying, you know,
I'm the best. I'm the greatest. No one knows my skill level. Because back then, nobody really knew. I mean, there were so many people, and it was easy to throw that claim out there for sure.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Even if I lose, it won't last that long. We'll get it done.
We'll get it
Paul
done.
Wasika say nobody knows who he is, but Daniel Negreanu knows. Negreanu actually early on picked Wasika to make the final table. Wasika with ace-7 offsuit. And Wasika comes out with 1.2 million chips.
Heads up play.
says shorthanded is his specialty, but Gold has been virtually unstoppable.
7-1 chip lead, I believe.
Heads up, any 2 cards are pretty much good. Jamie Gold's been playing the whole main event that way. Queen 8 offsuit, he'll make the call.
This we will never ever see a player like Jamie Gold win the main event again. It just won't happen. I mean, it just will not. It's not going to happen. It's truly a one of a kind back in the day.
Darvin Moon almost did it.
But I don't even think Darvin V-pipped like Jamie V-pips. Like
Darvin Moon was like Mr. Aggressive, Mr. Big Bet. Swinging for the fences.
He put in. Yeah, I think he played tighter ranges, but actually just put in a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. But I feel like every year we're gonna have someone that plays a crazy style go very deep, and then in order to win, you're gonna need a lot of luck.
I can't wait for the main to come back, man. This November, very excited.
How big do you think it's gonna be?
It would be sick if it got over 10,000 runners. It would be pretty cool.
I would love to see that. Oh, did I just do that?
Yeah, he just calls the flush.
Oh, there's blueberries.
Wasika will draw first blood.
Okay, explain this blueberry reference. Was Jamie just always eating blueberries?
Yeah, there was a few instances where you just see him eating a bowl of blueberries like during play.
That 11 million chip pot.
To the delight of Wasika Nation. If Wasika wins this thing, I don't want to see what the bar tab is going to be like.
The cheering section is going nuts, but Paul knows there's a lot of work left to be done. A couple of months ago, Paul won $146,000 in a tournament. The next day, won another $25,000. He's guaranteed at least $6 million here. It's been a pretty good year for him.
Wow, what a score.
Yeah.
Just a true career-defining score.
This is Texas Hold'em, but nobody from Texas has won the main event since Jack Strauss in 1982. Wasika was born in Dallas.
Couple of 10s for Wasika.
Monster heads up.
Again, reaching for chips. Raises it to 1.3.
Jamie casually calls the 1.3 million.
So Wasika in the lead with his 10s against Gold's Queen 9. Now the flop, Queen 8-5. Gold does it again, pairing his queen. Wasika, first to act now. 1.5 million chips.
All in.
And Gold's gonna push. Does Paul want to make his move now?
You don't have a queen, do you? I'm already all in. You can say whatever. You can't change my action. You don't have a queen, do you?
And this could be it for Paul Wasika.
This could be.
I guess if you did, you'd call, so I got this one.
Jamie again, trying to turn the screws and mess with the mind.
No queen?
No queen.
Then I got you. You got a pair? You got.
I do have that.
So let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Jamie trying to close another deal. Wasika making a decision for what could be his tournament life.
He just got paid off in a lot of spots.
Oh yeah.
I definitely do not have a good hand, but I think I'm gonna win.
I think you have a draw. All right, you talked me into it.
You call?
Here we go.
Yes!
Wasika calls all
This is
in.
it, baby. Yeah!
Jamie Gold
This
puts
is it.
himself in position to win this title.
So close. So close.
Jamie's glad his mom is here, but they both wish that his dad, Robert, who suffers from Lou Gehrig's disease, were also here to share this moment.
Credit Jamie for making another sale here and getting Wasika to call.
Turn card is an ace, not what Wasika needed. He's got one last chance to keep it going.
One card to go.
Don't jump in
Tell
here
me
again,
what
okay?
happens. I won't.
Okay, just relax. Don't even
Tell
look.
me what happens.
Okay.
And just tell
This
me
is
no
it,
10.
man.
Tell me no 10.
There ain't no 10. There's only one card today.
You've come
Not
so
gonna come.
far.
This is it, man.
You've come so
this
far.
is go. No 10.
No 10.
That's all right. Relax. Breathe. Just breathe. Relax.
Wasika needs a 10 or it's over.
Jamie Gold has done it!
Congratulations. Oh, my God.
You're awesome. You played awesome. You're awesome.
Jamie Gold makes believers of us all.
What a win, man. What a win.
Unbelievable win. Crazy.
Unbelievable run, an all-time poker run.
Felipe Mojave in the chat on Twitch. Felipe, thanks so much for tuning in, man. I miss you. I haven't seen you in so long. Oh, I can't wait for WSOP whenever we see footage like this. By the way, really moving moment at the end here. Let's just watch.
Don't have a heart attack.
Oh, why would I have a heart attack? Happiest day of my life. You said you were going to do it.
Jamie did it under the brightest lights and against the biggest poker field ever assembled.
Oh, beautiful,
Wow.
beautiful ending there. There's another ending part. I believe it's not part of this clip, as we clearly don't see it, where after the credits roll, Jamie is on the phone with his dad, who couldn't be there. And his dad is at home and suffers from ALS. And he's on the phone. And he goes, "Dad, I did it. I won it." And like he's sitting at the table. There's no one else around, which is really cool. I'll put that on social media in the next couple of days. I'll go find that clip, which is pretty awesome. Anyway, that was it.
That is
06 main
awesome.
event, all wrapped up. $12 million for Jamie Gold. Pretty insane final table.
Largest first place prize in the history of the main event. I think we've had bigger fields, but it's not as top heavy as it used to be. Or is that still the biggest
Still
field?
the biggest field to date. Yeah.
Still the biggest field.
Yeah.
But that was top heavy. First was like double second almost.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. And basically, since that year, with the exception, I believe, of 14, when Jacobson won, it's always been a lot flatter. Jacobson won $10 million. That's when they guaranteed a $10 million first prize. But yeah, the payouts have changed a lot over the years. I don't think we'll see a $12 million first prize in a long time, because even if we hit 10K runners, we're still not going to see that. But yeah, iconic stuff, pretty amazing. And just, thanks for everyone for tuning in. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. And subscribe to our new Run It Back Clips channel, which is also on YouTube, where we cut out some of our favorite parts from these shows and put them all on there.
This is a lot of fun, man. I mean, I'm gearing up for my own journey at the WSOP this year, a little bit online, and then obviously live. I'll be in Vegas, and after a long time with the pandemic and everything, I think there's going to be a lot of good energy in Vegas. I think a lot of people are going to be there, a lot of personalities, a lot of all-time legends or whatever. So this has gotten me fired up, man. I'm excited to see everybody there, and then who knows? I mean, maybe I'll win the main. Maybe I'll pull the Jamie Gold this year.
If you make the main event final table this year, promise me to order a bowl of blueberries and to spoon it out at the table.
I will definitely bring some blueberries with me. What a run. What a poker run. And it was fun to actually watch these hands and see, poker content made 15 years ago. I'm very bullish on poker and the future of poker. That was the golden age, but I think there's still some golden times ahead for most of us still.
Especially, I think, live poker, when the pandemic is truly defeated, it's going to be insane all over the world. And I think WSOP this year, fingers crossed, the pandemic is sort of kept in check, is going to be amazing. And just to answer a few more questions here, I'm Woey on Twitch is asking, are all the old WSOP main events able to stream on PokerGo? All the main event final tables, as they aired on TV, are all available on PokerGo. So if whether they were streamed or broadcast as episodes, all that stuff is available on PokerGo. So go check that out. You can go back as far as the 70s when CBS used to make documentary style footage, which we also have on PokerGo, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you want to watch more main event breakdowns, I had Ryan Reese, Joe McKeon, Martin Jacobson, Greg Raymer, Joe Hashem, Chris Moneymaker, and Phil Hellmuth, all on Run It Back to break down their main event wins. So go check those out. Check out the Run It Back playlist on YouTube. It's the easiest way to find all of them. For now, we're going to have a lot more action coming up. We're going to have High Stakes Duel on PokerGo for the people that want to watch the old stuff. Every single thing that ever aired on TV is available there. And we have a lot of final table coverage coming on PokerGo of the upcoming WSOP 2021. So for now, if you have any questions, send them in to me at Remko Rinkema on Twitter. My DMs are open if you want to ask me something. Follow Kevin on Twitter, Kevin Rob Martin. Go find him there. He'll let you know whenever he's doing something cool. But for now, this was Running Back. We'll catch you guys next week.